"You're blocking a public access trail." The woman's voice cracked like a whip across the yard. I looked up from the hinges I'd just oiled. There she stood, arms folded, expression loaded, Karen. She wasn't a stranger. She lived 3 houses down, in the one with the plastic flamingos and 5 flags in the yard. She also happened to be president of the Pine Hollow HOA, a title she wielded with the grace of a traffic cone in a hurricane. That morning I was simply doing what I'd planned since I inherited the house from my uncle. Fixing up the property, reclaiming my space. The gate, one that had hung crooked and open for who knows how many years, finally swung shut with a satisfying click. It wasn't even locked. But that sound, that click, triggered something in Karen like I just sealed a vault of national secrets. She marched right up to the fence, her sensible shoes thudding like courtroom gavels against my gravel path. "You can't just close that gate." "Why not?" "It's been open for decades," she snapped. "It connects Oak Trail to Meadow Path. Everyone uses it." "Everyone," I repeated. "Through my property?" "It's part of the HOA-recognized community trail system." I tapped the old deed I'd pinned inside the porch window. A backup, since she'd already asked to review my boundaries the week I moved in. "Right here," I said. "Lot 27. No trail. Just yard." Her eyes narrowed. "That's your interpretation." "No," I said. "That's the county's interpretation." She whipped out her phone like it was a badge and began recording. "This is being documented. You're violating historical access." "Cool," I said. "Want to get a shot of the gate from this angle?" She paused. That wasn't the reaction she wanted. Karen thrived on pushback, raised voices, flustered explanations, drama. Instead, I went inside, made coffee, and watched from the kitchen as she paced outside like a rooster in a yard that didn't belong to her. "Hey folks. Quick break while Karen collects her evidence. If you've ever had an HOA run wild, hit that like button. And tell us where you're watching from. We love seeing how far the Karen syndrome spreads. Oh, and subscribe, we post new real stories like this every day." By evening, the video of me denying access to the elderly and families with children had been posted to the Pine Hollow HOA Facebook page. I was tagged by name, Jack Harper, Lot 27, along with a blurry zoomed-in frame of my closed gate. The caption? "When one neighbor thinks he's above tradition." The comments flooded in. "We always walk that path with our beagle. Disgusting behavior. HOA should fine him. This is what happens when people move in without respecting the community." I replied once. "It's not a path. It's my yard." Didn't matter. The mob had its moment. 2 mornings later, I stepped out to find a folded piece of paper taped to my gate. "You're disrupting the flow. Open it. Concerned neighbors." Handwritten. Anonymous. Someone even drew a smiley face. That week things got weird. Someone dumped a small pile of gravel across the gate entrance. A neighbor jogged past and spat directly on the latch. And one afternoon I caught a teenager standing at the fence, filming himself yelling, "Free the trail," into his phone. Apparently I was now a villain with lore. I decided to be proactive. I contacted the county office, asked for a clear ruling. They emailed back 2 PDFs. 1. A map from 1998 showing no official trail cutting through Lot 27. 2. A clarification letter from 2004 confirming that HOA green access routes were non-binding suggestions, not legal designations. Printed. Frame. Hung on my porch like a diploma. Karen came by again on Friday. Clipboard this time. "We're submitting a formal request for easement." I looked up from my rake. "To who?" "To the HOA board." "The one you run?" "It will be a democratic process." "Sure," I said. "Just don't forget to recuse yourself. Conflict of interest." Her eye twitched. That night I checked my security cams. At 11:47 p.m. the motion sensor triggered. A figure walked past my fence. They paused at the gate. Bent down. Did something. Then left. Next morning the latch was snapped in half. When I walked out that morning, there was a flyer flapping against my mailbox like a sick bird. White paper. Big red text. "Community path at risk. Sign the petition to protect our walkways from unjust obstruction." There was even a QR code that led to a splashy HOA site titled Trail Watch Pine Hollow. It had a fake satellite image of the neighborhood with a bright green line cutting directly through my yard. The map looked legit, until you noticed my house wasn't even on it. I scrolled further. "Mr. Harper, Lot 27 has closed off public access to our cherished Oak Meadow Trail, blocking generations of neighbors from enjoying nature and togetherness." Generations? The trail had been a shortcut through private property at best. But they spoke like I'd bulldozed Yosemite. Then came the comments. Anonymous testimonials. I can't explain to my daughter why a grown man would deny kids a place to explore. This is exactly why HOA rules matter. People like this ruin communities. There was even a little counter. Petition signatures, 67 and growing. Funny thing? Pine Hollow only had 48 homes. That weekend I noticed more traffic. People I'd never met walking the street, slowing down near my place, some taking photos, one lady even filming a live update for the HOA Facebook group. Behind me is the now locked gate, she narrated. He says it's his property, but let's look at the facts. I walked into frame. She yelped. I waved. She ran. Monday morning, certified letter. Stamped with the HOA logo. Inside. Formal notification of HOA rule violation. You are hereby advised that obstructing community access violates Section 4.7b of Pine Hollow Covenant Code regarding harmonious flow of movement and shared utility. That was not a real law. I checked. Section 4.7b was about painting shutters in earth tone palettes. I brought the letter to the HOA office, which naturally was in Karen's converted garage. Bennett, the HOA secretary, opened the door. Early 60s, beard like a history professor, energy of a man who regrets agreeing to anything. Oh, hi Jack, he said, clearly uncomfortable. This code violation. I said, holding it up. It's made up. He looked around, lowered his voice. You didn't get this from me, but yeah. Karen wrote that herself. Figures. She's been passionate lately. Passionate people don't forge codes. He gave a tired smile. If only more of us showed up at the meetings. So I did. That Wednesday. I walked into the rec center conference room to find folding chairs arranged like a courtroom. Karen sat at the front, already mid-sentence. And while some members continue to disregard the community's wishes, we have a duty to uphold harmony and shared history. She spotted me. Smiled tightly. I raised my hand. You're not on the agenda, she said. I live here. I have a gate. And a name. It's Jack. Murmurs. I walked up, placed my property survey on the folding table like a mic drop. This land's mine. It's always been mine. There's no public easement. No trail. The only thing crossing this property is entitlement. Gasp. One guy clapped. Just once. Stopped. Karen tried to pivot. We're not here to litigate history. You're rewriting it, I snapped. With fake maps and Facebook groups. That night I found my trash cans tipped over. Inside, someone had shoved a printed copy of the petition, with my name forged at the bottom. See, someone had scribbled. He agreed. The next day I printed new signs. Big bold letters. Private property, not a trail. Smile, you're on camera. I planted them near the gate, set my cameras to motion detect plus auto upload. I even caught one HOA volunteer trying to remove the sign, until she saw the red blinking light and bolted like she'd stepped on a rake. That Friday Rick stopped by. My neighbor. Laid-back guy, former contractor, always in camo shorts no matter the weather. Karen gave me a clipboard this morning, he said. Said if I didn't sign the petition, I'd look uncooperative. I laughed. You sign. I told her I don't do cults. We shook hands. That was the first time I felt like I wasn't entirely alone. But Karen wasn't done. Next week, a man in khakis and an HOA vest showed up with a measuring wheel, muttering about green space ratios. He walked back and forth along my fence for 20 minutes. I offered him lemonade. He declined. Later, I found chalk markings on the sidewalk, arrows pointing toward my gate, labeled Temp Access Zone. I sent an email to the county zoning office with everything. The fake petition, the forged code violation, the sidewalk graffiti. They replied. We've received multiple complaints from your HOA about shared land access, but nothing on file supports a legal easement on your property. You're in the clear. I printed that email. Taped it on the gate. Right next to the camera sign. For a few days it went quiet. Too quiet. No flyers. No chalk. No Facebook notifications accusing me of killing the spirit of the neighborhood. I knew that meant something worse was brewing. Then at 2:13 a.m. on a Wednesday night, my dog went absolutely berserk. Not the usual squirrel on the fence kind of bark. This was deeper. Urgent. I threw on boots, grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside. That's when I saw it. Smoke. A thick column rising behind the barn. I sprinted. The old wooden structure. the one I'd been fixing up to turn into a workshop, was glowing orange around the base. Flames licked at the support beams. It wasn't a big blaze yet, but it wanted to be. I grabbed one of the 2 fire extinguishers I'd hung by the porch, ripped the pin out like an action movie extra, and blasted the base. My lungs burned. Eyes watered. The heat was shocking. And then I heard footsteps behind me. Jack. It was my brother, Jake. He lived next block over and had seen the smoke from his back deck. Together we hit it from both sides. He with the garden hose, me with the second extinguisher. 10 minutes later it was out. The barn was scorched but standing. And just beside it, lying in the dirt like a discarded candy wrapper, was a red plastic gas can. Half melted. Empty. We looked at each other. No one had to say it. This wasn't an accident. We called the fire department. Then the sheriff. They arrived fast. Small towns work that way. By 4 a.m., the place was swarming with responders, floodlights bouncing off the scorched planks of my barn. Deputy Lane took our statements. He held up the can. "This was intentional," he said flatly. I nodded. "You got enemies, Mr. Harper?" "Apparently I'm public enemy number 1 to a certain homeowners association." He raised an eyebrow. "Karen?" "Bingo." He sighed like he'd heard that name before. "Can you prove anything?" "Not yet. But give me time." I handed over the security cam footage from the front and side angles. Unfortunately, the barn camera hadn't been installed yet. Stupidly, I thought it could wait until the weekend. Still, one of the other cameras caught a shadow slipping along the fence, hood up, clutching something round. They were careful. Too careful. But not perfect. Later that morning, while sifting through the burnt grass around the barn, I found something half buried. A rubber wristband, the kind they give out at HOA events. It read, "Pine Hollow Proud." It smelled like smoke. I bagged it and turned it in. Meanwhile, word spread fast. A fire? In Pine Hollow? Someone tried to burn down Lot 27? Rick showed up around noon with 2 other neighbors. Normally quiet types. "Karen's saying you staged it," one of them muttered. "Claims you're trying to frame the HOA." Of course she was. Of course. "She says what now?" I asked. "That you lit your own barn on fire for sympathy." I stared at them. "Would you like to step into my kitchen and look at my burnt hands?" They declined. But they believed me. At least Rick did. "I'm done playing nice," he said. "This has gone too far." The next day I called my lawyer. Then I called a reporter. Within 48 hours, the local paper ran a headline. "Tensions burn in Pine Hollow. HOA feud escalates to suspected arson." They printed my quotes, photos of the burnt siding, and even the gas can. I didn't name names. But I didn't need to. Everyone knew. And then came the HOA response. Not from Karen. From Bennett. A public statement posted to the community board. "The Pine Hollow HOA condemns all forms of violence or intimidation. We are cooperating fully with law enforcement. Anyone found responsible will be removed from the association and referred for prosecution." Translation? We're panicking. That night I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. The message was 3 seconds of silence. Then a whisper. "Keep pushing and you'll see what happens next." The cops opened a case. The footage, the gas can, the wristband, they took it all. I was told to stay alert. I installed more lights. 3 more cameras. And for the first time since this started, I began to wonder if I should leave. But I didn't. Because when you let someone like Karen win, you don't just lose your yard. You lose the whole damn neighborhood. The fire changed everything. Neighbors stopped waving. Some crossed the street when they saw me. A few even started parking closer to their fences, like fire could spread by eye contact. But not everyone was buying Karen's "he did it for sympathy" narrative. Rick came by almost daily. He helped replace some of the scorched boards on the barn, kept an eye out while I adjusted the cameras, and offered real advice, like, press charges, and don't back down. Meanwhile, Bennett, our sad-eyed HOA secretary, started acting nervous. Too nervous. I spotted him at the mailbox one morning, just standing there holding an envelope but not opening it. When I said hi, he flinched like I'd yelled. "I didn't sign the statement," he blurted. "What?" "That thing Karen posted. About the HOA condemning violence. I never saw it before it went up." He handed me a printout of an email chain. Karen had written the whole thing herself, using "we" and "the board," though clearly no one else had been consulted. "She's out of control," Bennett whispered. "I didn't sign up for this." The next clue came from an unexpected place: spam. No joke. I was going through my inbox, deleting junk, when I noticed a strange message in the trash. It was forwarded to me by accident from a group email thread, some HOA internal chain I'd been CC'd on once during a plumbing thing. Subject line: fence incident reimbursement. The body read, $320 should be enough to cover repairs. Just make sure Rick doesn't see it. He's already suspicious. Also, burn the originals. Not joking. Attached was a scanned invoice from a local hardware store, dated the morning after the fire. Name on the billing account? Howard Billings, the HOA treasurer. Now I had something. I printed everything. Invoice, email, my timeline, photos. I put them in a folder and scheduled a meeting with Deputy Lane. He read the email twice, then looked up and said, "We'll need to talk to Mr. Billings." That was Friday. By Monday, Howard was in custody. Arrested for attempted arson, criminal trespass, and conspiracy. He didn't even try to deny it. The report said he folded after 2 questions and blamed pressure from above. "Karen told me we had to make a statement," he said. "She said people don't listen until something burns." Those were his actual words. They made it into the local news report. That evening, the community board had a new paper pinned to it. No official letterhead. Just typed text. Due to recent events, the Pine Hollow HOA is temporarily suspending all board operations. Residents are advised to refrain from speculation until further notice. Speculation? Too late. Facebook exploded. One neighbor made a post titled, "Queen Karen's Kingdom is Crumbling." Another uploaded a slow-motion montage of the gate, the fire, and Howard's mugshot with dramatic music. Even the Facebook moms who'd signed the petition started deleting their comments. Karen herself? Silent. No statements. No appearances. Her pink blazer stayed in the closet. Then came the county meeting. Every quarter, Pine Hollow sent a rep to discuss zoning, safety, infrastructure. It was usually a sleepy 10-person affair. This time? Back. Karen showed up, probably hoping to regain control. She wore dark sunglasses indoors. I showed up too, with a file folder and a printed timeline. And so did Rick. And Bennett. And a handful of quiet neighbors who'd finally had enough. I didn't speak first. Bennett did. He walked to the mic, cleared his throat, and said, "I've served as HOA secretary for 6 years. I've written emails, read bylaws, hosted barbecues. I've never seen behavior like this. One of our board members committed arson. And another, our president, encouraged it. We all let it go too far. That ends today." He stepped back. Silence. Then someone clapped. Then another. Then the room roared. Karen stood. Said she was resigning under protest. She claimed to be a victim of group hysteria. She accused me of escalating things for attention. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. Rick did. "You escalated things, Karen. Jack just survived them." The county voted to formally dissolve the HOA's current board, pending audit. All HOA funds were frozen. All activities suspended. A review committee would be formed. Karen was banned from participating. Her house went up for sale a week later. No one shed a tear. But it wasn't over. Not for me. I still had burn marks to repaint. Still checked the cameras every night. Still heard phantom barking in my head when it got too quiet. When you're attacked like that, physically, reputationally, psychologically, the wound takes time. But it heals. Because you know you stood your ground. You didn't cave. You didn't burn. And the one who tried to. She's gone. The gate's still closed. Not locked. Just closed. The sign's still there too, private property, not a trail, but now it's more of a symbol than a warning. No one tries to sneak through anymore. They just walk around. Like they always could have. Funny how. After the HOA board was dissolved, there was this weird calm, like a storm had passed but no one dared say it out loud. Karen's house sold within 2 weeks. The new owners? A retired couple from Arizona. Lovely people. They brought me cookies. Said they'd heard about the community incident, but were excited to be part of the rebuild. Yeah, rebuild. The county appointed a temporary HOA oversight committee made up of neutral residents, including Bennett, who looked like a man finally breathing fresh air after 6 years in a stuffy box. But most folks agreed. No more presidents. No more power plays. We started having informal meetups instead, porch nights, we called them. Everyone brought chairs and sat outside with tea or beer or nothing at all. We talked about gardening, property lines, movies. Rick even brought a karaoke speaker one night. Sang "Take It Easy" like his life depended on it. People showed up. Not because they were guilt into it, Not because someone in a pink blazer told them they had to, but because they wanted to. The gate became a little landmark. One kid started calling it the magic fence, said it kept out bad vibes. His mom laughed and told me that meant she didn't have to explain the HOA to him anymore. I let it slide. Let them tell their own stories now. As for Howard, the treasurer who lit the match, he got 3 years probation, mandatory community service, and was banned from holding any position of authority in any housing association for life. The judge said, "The greatest danger is not fire. It's when ego dresses up as duty." That line made the paper. Karen meanwhile relocated to Nevada. Rumor has it she's trying to get on the board of her new HOA. God help them. And me? I built the workshop I'd planned all along, in a barn that still smells a little smoky on hot days. I kept one of the burnt boards and mounted it inside the new wall. Not as a warning. As a reminder. That standing your ground doesn't mean shouting the loudest. Sometimes it just means not opening the gate. Thanks for sticking with me through the madness. If this story resonated, if you've ever faced a Karen or just needed proof that truth eventually wins, hit that subscribe. New stories drop every day. And you better believe there's always another fence to fight for. See you in the next one.